That was a thing. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to everyone. So, I just got done reading the first three chapters of the fan fiction that apparently I and my Slavic Jean Arc is going to be in, as well as a Roblox character. Oh dear God. This is not going to end well, folks. It's not going to end well. This is just my first impressions, not a proper review. The author has stated that this is just a first draft. He is going to be improving coming forward, so I'm just giving my feedback on it. One of them is that I know who I am. Not a lot of people do, so maybe a short explanation, like a text scroll, like a Star Wars text scroll, not the sequel trilogy bullshit. I'm talking like the prequels or even the original trilogy. Some form of like explanation, basically, that can help out a lot of readers. But what's the story as a whole? So my first impression of the first draft is more or less that he starts going through and picking people up. I get picked up off the front lines of Operation Shiloh Fire, the actual, like, war against the communists, essentially. If you haven't seen my lore behind my Milsim event, then do check that out. Basically, I get plucked out from that story. And the funny thing is that he does it in a comical way that I actually do find I do get a chuckle out of myself, because apparently I get pulled out of that as a grenade is landed right in front of me. And I go, and I almost cuss, but I get yoinked. I get yeeted out of there before the grenade can even go off, which I find kind of hilarious. That is something someone would probably do to me. And then, of course, I get sent to the one place I didn't expect I was going to be sent. RWBY. My Slavic Jean Arc, the Moscovian Jean Arc from my story, Jean Arc, Other People's Republic of Moscovia. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. And Zeke. Zeke. I don't know how you spell that right. So apparently he's a Roblox character, which I could give two shits about. I really don't give a fuck about Roblox all that much. I found it as a passing fad, but I personally just don't like it. Then, of course, the big thing is that he gender swaps Jean Arc, my Jean Arc, the Slavic Jean Arc, to be a woman. Ain't that interesting? But here's the kicker, though. So, we're apparently in the first episode of RWBY. And here's the thing. I know RWBY, Jean knows RWBY, because this Jean is more or less at that point, but me personally, I know RWBY, I watch RWBY, even though the current thing is kind of disappointing as all hell. But here's the thing. I personally didn't like how he portrayed myself. It's a fan fiction, I know. It's the first draft. He's explained it to me, saying he's let me know it's lined. But here's the thing: there are some firearms I would not use in certain environments because of my very much so heavy militaristic family background, and being told, "Hey, these are areas where you don't use these fucking firearms." And there's one scene apparently where I just toss all logic out the window and I use a minigun in an urban environment. Even though okay. Just apparently I don't care about property damage. I don't care about people's livelihoods. Okay. Make me into a fucking sociopath. Just oy vey. The other thing is that one-liners. Now, the portrayal of me basically questioning everything and actually pointing out all the flaws, that's me. That's me, and that is me and my YouTube personality in a fucking nutshell. My friends will tell you that I can't sit through a movie without fucking questioning the decisions of people or pointing out the flaws of things. That's why I became a critic. That's why I love being cynical. But it makes me say one-liners that I would say and one-liners I wouldn't say. That's just... I'm more of an 80s and 90s action hero kind of guy. And there are some modern action hero lines I would not say. I've always been the kind of guy who will go with the classics and not more the modern. Unless, of course, it's John Wick, then by all means, yeah, John Wick, I will happily quote all day. But back to the minigun scene, because that just still bothers me a bit. Because I would not use a minigun. If anything, being surrounded by people, being surrounded by the goons Roman had in episode 1, which yes, this does play in episode 1. If anything, I would have used the M16. I would have used an M16 with the M203 on it, or M203, 302. Basically an underslung grenade launcher, 40 mic, and I would have said the Scarface line, because in that situation, I would have. If anything else, I would have done something pretty 80s or 90s badass. Not that. I would have never done that because loss of property damage. If anything, I would have probably done some John Woo, gun fu, essentially. But either way, though. So, the other thing is that kind of really irked me a bit is that with the bullhead scene where Roman is running away, one thing I would have definitely said, "Here's Johnny." I would have definitely said that. I would have said that just because, I'm sorry, that there's always a time to use the "Here's Johnny" line. That was one of those moments. But the one thing that really kind of stuck out to me was when he made me say, "I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum." And I'm all out of bubblegum. No, that line does not work there. It does not work there. No. Another one would have been good to use would be, Romeo Gasasplanetodo. Or, Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me, because at that moment in time, apparently my YouTube personality is going after Roman and the bullhead. And he pulls out a fucking AT-4. I don't know if any of you know this, but AT-4, even though in video games they try to say, oh, it can be used for taking out helos or any sort of things like that. No, in my opinion, I would have used an RPG, because I would have used either an RPG or a Stinger. AT-4, in my mind, is primarily soft targets to take out. I would not use it on aircraft. I'd use it on vehicles or tanks. I'd never use it on aircraft. RPG or Stinger, or even Igla, yeah, I definitely use that for anti-vehicle. But the big thing is that I don't say backblast clear. For anyone who knows me, you know I'm very much so a stickler for explosives. I will yell out fire in the hole. I will say, grenade out, or, something like that. I will indicate when I'm about to use explosives. And the way he portrays me in this is that he portrays me in that I have no care for anyone behind me for the backblast area. If I'm using an RPG or an AT-4 or an Igla or Stinger, or even a Javelin, for God's sakes, I will make sure that people behind me are clear of that damn thing, because to anyone who doesn't know, the backblast from either of those anti-vehicle or even just any of those rocket-propelled systems will kill you. They will cave you in. Or not, I am not going to take any chances in hurting someone, so I will yell out backblast clear and wait for any sort of indication to tell me, yeah, your backblast is clear, you can send a rocket downrange. That is one of the two things that kind of irks me a bit, is that he believes I have no sort of care for any sort of property damage or the people around me. But anyway, from what I've read so far, it ends with us being interrogation. Me ranting off the stuff that absolutely just makes no goddamn sense, which primarily be the weapons of RWBY, and by God, I would definitely happily rant about that, because Jesus fucking Christ. But either way, though, that is my first impressions on it, is that it's good for the first draft, but he definitely needs to improve upon it, and definitely needs to take into consideration that even if my YouTube personality is crazy insanity fueled by 80s and 90s movies, even early 2000s, I would not be so reckless and endanger civilian lives or even property damage. I wouldn't be that reckless. Ish. I definitely wouldn't be as reckless to just just basically throw firearm safety out the window, and especially explosive safety out the window when using high explosive weapons and ordnance. But again, just it's a first draft. I completely understand that, and when the final product does come out, I will review it as is. So, let me know in the comment section down below, ladies and gentlemen, what you think of this. It's on his Discord. I don't know if he'll drop a link to his Discord down below so you guys can read the first draft and give your thoughts on it. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been AirsoftAL, and I will try and review this as best as possible, even without a laptop or a computer. Hopefully, for my birthday, I'll get a laptop or computer. Who knows? Either way, though, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Later.